Hey guys, this is Terry G, Guyana Babu, and you are locked on with Mr. Critic. Remember, Essequibo belongs to Guyana. Essequibo is we own. Let me tell Maduro, no, 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 don't touch Essequibo. Terry G says so. Boom fire.
Good morning, guys. A great morning to all of those who tuned in to the realest thing coming out of the world. Unfortunately, it's not the best of mornings for all of us. If you're anything close to being just a regular Guyanese, you don't have to be necessarily the most patriotic Guyanese. You would know this is a dark time in our now written history. We have, as you know, there was a helicopter crash day before yesterday, on Wednesday, where we've now found out that 5 of our servicemen, real men, the people who for all the years have protected us and who we look forward to at these trying times with Venezuela, the Venezuelan aggression, we look forward for them to continue to protect us. Unfortunately, 5 of them have lost their lives. We're going to be talking about that this morning. Before we get into the details of that, I'll also like to play the opposition leader's expression of condolences. We'll also be discussing America's stance and what came out of the State House, America's stance on the Venezuelan aggression, and opposition leader of Trinidad expressing her sentiments on this matter also. Now, there have also been cases, out there where people are spreading misinformation. Unfortunately, Guyana is a country with an overwhelmingly amount of ignorant people. And first one has to know what is ignorance. You can be ignorant to certain specific facts. But for the most part, too many Guyanese are ignorant. Too many Guyanese are uneducated. Too many Guyanese are below a level of literacy that afford them the opportunity to be good contributing citizens to this country. Unfortunately. I'm hoping someday these are the things that I will not have to express in all honesty. I'm hoping that this could be a different nation. This is a place I love and care for and want to live the rest of my natural life here. But it's a sad state of affairs. I want to show you one such instance. So this is, we all know what is the evidence for the, where is the evidence for the crash site? We all want to know where is the crash site, how the servicemen disappeared in something y'all not telling us. Okay, 2 survivors will end up story, or y'all will kill survivors too. Sad. This is Annalisa Leo Passad, and then you got other people chiming in, and Current is correct, is right. This is not adding up. Like, who is the 2 survivors still at the site? How is the 2 survivors still at the site? Not thing. Very sad that you come across social media. People are afforded the opportunity to express their ignorance on social media. This person, I think the Guyana Police Force should track down and find out what they know and based on what premise they're making these assertions. I must also apologize to the family of these lost souls for TBN's blunder yesterday. One of our new staff thought they had some information and suggested that a helicopter was coming into Ogle with people, and it was posted on TBN. I had a lengthy discussion with them for them to know that people in this country depend on me for the facts. If I don't say anything, people would hear stories from other news agencies and don't care unless I say. We're not interested in breaking news. We're interested in bringing the facts. To be honest, this is my sentiment on journalism. I sent a video to you. I sent a video in the group. This video, you didn't download this video? It's downloaded? I ain't seen it. I maybe gotta roll up or roll down. It's not downloaded here. Let's play it directly from. This is really my sentiments and media. This is why I differ. This is a direct expression of my sentiments and media. Right? Just me. Let me.
Nothing, never fucking built nothing, motherfuckers, on planet Earth. When you really think about the media, who are they? Where did they come from? Why does their opinion matter? What have they ever done? What have they ever created? What have they ever built? Who's ever depended on a paycheck from the media? Nobody. They are a bunch of fucking zeros that sit around and write stories about people who are actually doing shit. Media are the dumbest, know nothing, do nothing, never fucking built nothing, motherfuckers, on planet Earth. When you really think about the media, who are they? Where did they come from? Why does their opinion matter? What have they ever done? What have they ever created? What have they ever built? Who's ever depended on a paycheck from the media? Nobody. They are a bunch of fucking zeros that sit around and write stories about people who are actually doing shit. Media are the dumbest.
That is exactly my sentiment. That is why I am who I am. That is why I chose this part. Because that is I share that sentiment about media. That's why we're not a part of the Guyana Press Association. Because that exactly is my sentiment. I could not have said it better. Simply put, I could not have said it better. Right? That's just my opinion. That's why me come here, I show live. Anything me doing is live and direct. It's got to be real. No structured thing. Nobody pulling me strings. Nobody telling me what to say. It's got to be real. Right? Because when you look at the media, like yesterday I had to talk with the staff. Somebody tell us, somebody of God tell you, there have been messages from God that have been misconstrued and caused wars in this world. The destruction of men, great men, as a result of misinformation from the Most High. Well, here we're saying, the information might not have been coming from the Most High, but the claims were it came from the Most High. The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic, they have massacred people in the name of the information that they gotten, which turned out to be untrue. Now, if you see or you know yourself, like everybody was up and everybody was up and, oh, this happened and that happened and what happened and the helicopter ain't working good. Their video footage. The Guyana Defense Force need to figure out who took this video footage and what vantage point. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is ignorance in its fullest. Now, this is obviously coming from the Guyana Defense Force compound. Listen to what the person is saying. This is coming from the Guyana Defense Force compound. A military facility that the people are supposed to have a certain level of training. The Guyana Defense Force has to explain this.
What level of ignorance and incompetence is this? So this is the helicopter said to be taking off on that fatal trip. Right? Let's look at it. Oh shit. You can't see nothing there. The green. Oh, okay. You can see the helicopter. Beautiful. All right. Understood. So somebody's making assertions that it's taking long to lift off. Now, this is in the Guyana Defense Force compound. This video came out from the Guyana Defense Force compound, was taken out of context. From this person's voice, obviously they're not qualified. From the area where they're there, they don't know what they're talking about, but they're in the Guyana Defense Force compound, videoing. Nothing is wrong with videoing, but making assertions. The Guyana Defense Force has to look into this. Listen. This here is Campangana. You know where Campangana is? Vasinjan Road. Forgot to the seawall. This is the ground there. Where the roundabout is, this is exactly opposite the roundabout. This is the ground. This is within the Campangana compound. Seawall Road and the roundabout, Kitty roundabout, straight across there. This is where that is, right? So you could hear the person saying something wrong. Now, it is not uncommon in trying to get a flight part, making sure there's clearance and all them things, because you gotta get down to ogle, you gotta say what you're doing when you're doing. Helicopter don't just fly up in the air and go and fly all about the places they like. So in making sure you know the closest airport, which is Ogle Airport, knows what you're doing when you're doing, it's common to call, get a flight part, say you're moving, where you're going, what's the movements. When these things are like car, me jump in, pick up a start and drive. You warm up, you check different things are being checked, you test different, just like when you go in the plane, the man rev the engine, you check the engines, check everything. You don't jump in the helicopter, one gone off. This is not a video game. This is not a drone. The Guyana Defense Force need to figure out who did this. If they can't figure out who did this and deal with them accordingly, it's nonsense. It's based shoppiness at this time. They done got a set of TikTok people dancing for TikTok and that kind of thing. Obviously, it shows a lack of discipline and understanding that is very much needed at this time of unrest in our country, of unease. When the mere organization that is supposed to bring calm to you, leaking, got information like this coming up, people insinuating, people hear this jackass talking, whoever she is. Because it even been about what Big Smith put up about heating the helicopter with difficulty. What he know about helicopter with difficulty? I don't know, he don't know, she obviously don't know. It didn't look nothing unusual to me. Something wrong, something wrong. Nah, something wrong. Listen. Bear in mind, this is the best and most experienced pilot Guyana got. Helicopter pilot. More flying hours. Mike Charles has more flying hours than any other Guyanese pilot with helicopter. He is the best. He's got a man sit down beside him, young banner. They got other helicopter pilots, but this is experience second to none. Flight hours, if you know about aviation, you know. Your experience is dependent on flight time. Even driving car, experience is developed over time because you gotta be doing the thing. It's practice makes perfect. You don't get more perfected than Mike Charles. My worry is at this time, nobody's using the smarts. No, you think, yeah, something wrong. What wrong? What you know wrong? What you know about aviation? Mostly I don't even know it was a fucking yeast infection, much as for nobody helicopter and what wrong. You're smelling high, and you didn't know that wrong, something wrong down there. This ignorance. We gotta start being real. Now the families, oh God, is Woody wrong? Why? The helicopter take off in the direction of the seawall. Right? You know why? Because most planes will take off, they head out to the Atlantic Ocean, they take a path along the coastline for the most part. You go out and you make your turn. Most aircraft. Why didn't take off in the other way? Because it's bush-sided going. It was going west. Why didn't it head after west? Why did it start heading north? This man is the most experienced pilot in that field. The thing is, you got helicopter pilots working with air services. Air services This man is a GDF pilot since he's young. And the Guyana Defense Force literally has a helicopter flying every day. I'll take you to Mike Charles's page just now. Mike Charles has literally flown to every part of this country, guns down at the end, every part of the border, landed at every airstrip, airport, landing area in this country. He's not a haphazard guy. He's a guy that would take calculated an assessment and calculate what he's going to do, not take no wild risk. The 5 men whose lives were lost is Brigadier Retired Gary Beaton. Now, let me tell you about this man. I have met this man myself, and I don't know if it's because of his serious demeanor. I feel, or I felt, that he wasn't appreciative of me as the Guyanese critic. But I respected that. And I respected this man for one reason. A man who would have risen to this level would have had to express, to be a brigadier, would have had to express a certain level of discipline. So let me tell you, me see the other day, hey chief, thing, yeah, I said, and he's always, and he was introduced to me one time, and somebody said, Critic, you know this man? I said, maybe it is a case where he doesn't know because of his watchable face and know whether they like me or they don't like me. I'm saying, maybe because of his disciplined, serious demeanor, he found what I do maybe not appreciative, or maybe that is just his demeanor to be disciplined. But in me looking at the retired brigadier, I understood that someone like me, a wild card, and so he necessarily wouldn't be appreciative of that. This man had dedicated his life to this country. Expressed a level of discipline that 95% of the men in this country have not been able to. I felt honored, although uneasy, to have met this man. Mike Charles, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Charles, a man who has traveled the length and breadth of Guyana, and I'll take you to his page. You could go and see his page. You'd realize he was a jolly little fellow. I remember the helicopter coming to number 2 canal, the ground in number 2 canal, and he landed there when there was a rescue mission for a downed plane, a plane that was crashed back in number 2 canal. If you guys remember, years ago, we covered that story. The removal of the bodies from that crash and the survivors was done by Mike Charles. I was there, he landed there, we took out photos. Must go in my files and see if we have any photos, because I took out photos with the helicopter and all those things. This is a man who has dedicated his life not only to the Guyana Defense Force, but to Guyanese in its entirety. Being the pilot Mike Charles was, he had to be on call 24/7. The Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force, as a result of Venezuela's aggression is on call. In line, you call it. They're in line. Now, all the members of the Guyana police, so that's why you see them all over the road, whole day, because all of them, they're at work at this point in time in our country. All police, members of the police force are on the job, and all members of the Guyana Defense Force are on the job. They can't go home. You have to stay into work immediately when you're in line. You call it in line. You want me to tell you something? That only happens at times when there's unease or wartime. A man such as Mike Charles, had to be in line all the time. Anytime he's called, he had to leave what he was doing. Where is the family? David, or what? He had to leave what he's doing and go immediately. Pick up a helicopter and fly. 1 o'clock a man, it took. They ain't got no shift with Mike Charles. He was on call all the time. So he basically dedicated his life to what he ended up losing his life to. I'll take you to his page just now. You could go to Michael Charles and you'll see his page. He's traveled this country, took out photographs with people in recent times have been flying across this country and taking out photographs and raising morale of the people. An unfathomable loss. Staff Sergeant Jason Khan. I don't know much about him, but I can tell you, to become a staff sergeant of the Guyana Defense Force would have taken a level of discipline that many men, I too can't say I have that discipline. At this time, these are the people we look up to take care of us. And not only look up to take care of us, at this time, when they died, they were in service. They were on a mission to go and visit troops on the border. They weren't on vacation. They were on the job while you were worrying what is going on with Venezuela, what will be the next move. These are the men who are ensuring that who is at the top knows what is going on in our country. These are the men who is going to raise morale in the ranks and the troops out there in the bordering areas. So let's not forget the sacrifice they've made. And gone into just the story of what happened. Helicopter. We got the story too. But let's not lose sight of the real gist of what is happening here. Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome. My condolences to the family of Sean Welcome. It is unfortunate that our servicemen, who are very much needed at this time, let it dawn upon you. Let it dawn upon you, the Guyanese people out there, the risk that has to be taken to protect you. The democratic right that you have, the ability to spread misinformation on social media is afforded you by men like Sean Welcome who protect you and give you that right. Let that dawn upon you. Colonel Michael Shahood, I was told from one of my friends who knew
Colonel Shahood, that he was a dedicated soldier. These are real men. That's the first thing you got to remember. These are men who have taken up a job that, if done well, it takes your life. I don't think the regular Guyanese man understands what it means to be a soldier. When you go to work as a CEO, you can lose your job as a result of incompetence. When you go to work as a fisherman, you might have to sell your boat. There are inherent dangers with every job. So going to work as a CEO, you could crash. But this job that a soldier signs up for, if done well, there's a likelihood you will lose your life. Because the job is to give your life to protect life. Unfortunate, but the reality. This is the reality of a soldier. So at this time, I would ask most Guyanese to use prudence. Be a little wise. When you are going to post up things and when you are going to set things, ask yourself, as an individual, the wife of Colonel Shahood, knowing your husband, hearing stories, and knowing how dedicated he was to his job, to go and see on Facebook a conspiracy. What recklessness is this? What animalistic, low-life, hungry belly behavior is this? Let's go straight into the accident. So this is video footage that I received yesterday. Now, when I spoke yesterday about the accident and the fact that the ELT went off, I spoke from a vantage point of my experience with aviation, my being well read in certain areas since I've started to follow up on a private pilot's license. I must say my limited experience compared to someone such as Mike Charles. Now, this is the crash site you're looking at here. What you're seeing there is what you're seeing here is the propeller. You see this thing here, sir? Is the blades. Them little white pieces, the blades that fold up. Right? And there's a path here. If you look at it, there's a path. Again, trees like this, from estimated angle, would be over 100 feet high. So you might, they ain't got no, this is dense jungle. They ain't got no party. This part was made by a crashing helicopter going through. Yesterday I said that if Mike Charles did not within 18 hours of a crash or a bad landing figure out how to make contact and say that everything was okay, it either was really good or really bad. Unfortunately, it was really bad.
Because when Colonel Khan said yesterday that one of the ways that ELT will go off is manually, I was asking myself, if Mike Charles, knowing the soldier he was, if Mike Charles end up in an uncontrollable situation, if he would be sending for a signal, or if he would be activating a signal, or if he would be calculating, we going home, hold it. And I knew what Mike Charles would have done. He would have held it to the end. It is just very unfortunate. No need for speculation, just 30 miles away from the Venezuelan border. They were on their way to visit our troops at the border. So no need for speculation as to what transpired. This is an unfortunate accident. The weather in this area, the weather at this time in this area is such. Look at it. This is raw jungle. There's no way to land. You might find a place to land miles away, then you got to trek to get there. We do have heavy lifting helicopter. I don't know if this one is the heavy lifting or the other one is the heavy lifting helicopter, but we have a helicopter that you could rappel down. And our special forces are presently on the ground there with medical teams. The bodies is said to have already been placed in back. 5 servicemen lost their lives. 2 have said to have survived and are receiving medical treatment. Preparations are on the way as we speak to retrieve the bodies and the injured servicemen. The extent of their injury is yet to be known. Our prayers are with the families of all those who've lost their life and those who are injured. We're wishing the best for them. Let's look at another video footage. So this gives a clearer path. If you notice, full clearance of the jungle. And this seems to be an uphill area, at the side of a hill. Very, very unfortunate at this time. Hey, Chief, morning.
Morning, Mr. Rodriguez. That man is not Colonel, my buddy. That man is Brigadier Chief of Staff.
Who is that?
Khan, the head of the army.
Brigadier. Well, I said Colonel Khan?
The man is, Omar Khan, he's the brigadier.
Yeah, he's the head of the... I said Colonel Khan.
The colonel is the only time on this man, the program.
No. I am... My apologies.
You make a mistake, what is hers?
Safe, Chief.
Good.
It's the brigadier. Yeah, he's the man heading up the army. I am... Forgive me for miscalling his misrepresenting his position, right? Yeah. So that's what you're seeing there. This way you're seeing here is the propellers. Let me go through the whole video and see if you go. All right. You see? Ah, Jesus. Too much green. But this little red things we're seeing is the propeller because the blades are red and white, painted red and white, right? Unfortunately, green from the chroma key from our video equipment is playing with the color, takes out the color. So very, very unfortunate. Oh my, back to Ogle from Kaituur Falls. It is raining heavily. I pray to get back. Yeah, my condolences to the family. We got to be more, this. The Guyana Police Force has to look at this. And Alicia Leo Passad, Alicia Gage, and as Lisa Leo Passad says again, right? This is ignorance. This is bare ignorance. Yeah, I gotta go to these people's page and sort them out. Full ignorance. Now, this is unfortunate. At this time, I would like to play the address by the opposition leader as it relates to the sad loss
Guyana
of
mourns
life.
the loss of 5 patriots. It is a sad day for all Guyanese. It is with deep sadness in our hearts and anguish in our souls that we learned that the missing GDF helicopter had crashed and 5 brave Guyanese souls perished. We extend our deepest condolences to the family of Lieutenant Colonel Michael Charles, commanding officer of the 1st Infantry Battalion, Colonel Michael Shahood, retired Brigadier Gary Peak, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome, and Staff Sergeant Jason Kant. We will forever honor these current and former Army officers as genuine and brave sons of the soil who gave dedicated service and their lives in defense of our dear homeland, Guyana. Yesterday, from the moment we heard of the missing helicopter, all Guyanese hoped and prayed for the best outcome for the entire crew. Alas, it was not to be. Their services to their country and to their fellow citizens were needed elsewhere. May their spirits rest in peace. May they continue to fight the good fight. We wish the surviving Army officers, Lieutenant Colonel Andy Michael Crawford and Corporal Dwayne Jackson, a full and speedy recovery. We share the mixed emotions of their families. Our thoughts and prayers also extend to you. We expect that the survivors and their families will have the full support of the Guyana Defense Force in particular and the government of Guyana in general as they seek to overcome the trauma associated with this accident. To the entire Guyana Defense Force Officer Corps and servicemen, we stand with you in this moment of bereavement. At this moment when our country is under threat from abroad, we know you are standing resolute and brave despite the loss of your comrades. Please be reassured of our support and the appreciation of the great sacrifice you continue to make to defend our territorial integrity and sovereignty. For that, we are eternally grateful. The parliamentary opposition expects that there will be a thorough investigation into the accident with the aim of ensuring the safety of our troops in the future. In this time of bereavement, all Guyanese have lost. As we mourn with the families and friends of the deceased, we say to them, may their souls rest in peace.
So that is the opposition leader, and I think the what was said was very much befitting of the present circumstances. I think that we can all say we're all on the same page here in Guyana. As much as we have our differences, we have our times of infighting. As a result of Venezuelan aggression towards Guyanese, we have to find it within our minds, because most of us think with our hearts and maybe sometimes with our testicles. But we have to find it within our minds to calm ourselves and see the need and purpose in uniting against a common enemy. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Michael.
Yes, how can I help you?
Hi, Michael. Morning. Staff Sergeant Jason Khan has been known to my family since I was kids. Myself, my brother Mark, my sister Felicia, we all grew up since we were little kids. His mom, Auntie Bernadette, and my mother, Alisa Collymore, they were very close friends since we were young children growing up in Hatfield Street. I would like to give my deepest condolences to Jason's wife, Diane, his sister, Janice, his other brother, Albert, who is also a serving member of the Guyana Defense Force, and also to his mom, Auntie Bernadette, who is living in New York currently. I can just imagine how everyone is feeling. I communicate with his sister. I know it's not easy for everyone at this moment, and I really pray, and I hope his wife and his family, including his mom, Auntie Bernadette, can hold it together. This is a lesson that we all have to learn, that today we are alive, Critic. We happy, we live in the best of our life, and tomorrow we don't know what will happen. Today is a blessing, tomorrow is not promised. It's really sad what happened. Also, I will give my deepest condolences to the other fallen soldiers, including Mr. Charles, Mr. Shahul, and others. It's really sad what happened. Guyana is mourning, Critic. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your words of support at this time, brother. You know, I don't know about all of the soldiers, but I could only imagine looking at Mr. Gary Beaton. He would have been a married man, if, you know, you guys could correct me. I know Mike Charles was a married man. Colonel Shahud was a married man. I'm now hearing about the fact that Khan, hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, good morning. My sympathy goes out to all our soldiers that had perished in that crash. I know Mr. Mike Charles personally, a good friend of mine, and I extend on behalf of me and my family. So I would like to extend again my sympathies to them all, and may the Lord show them the way.
All right, Chief.
As a pensioner, I'm living in South Rhineford Park. I went there since 6:30 this morning at the...
Not do it this morning, man. Don't do your condolences and then add something to it.
Something I would like to highlight.
Do not do it this morning. You're a pensioner, but it doesn't seem smart. Not this morning. People have lost their life. You call, we can give condolences, and then you got a little problem you want to share with the people. Come on.
All right. Thank you.
Come on. Oh, that my toenail hurting me. You understand? Gonna lose their life. Gonna lose their life for you. What the fuck is... God help these people now. It's resonant with women. They don't know the time and the place. Now, even you'd expect the older people would be smarter. The country realizes this. The flag is off. I mean, stop your life, you know? Good morning, brother.
Mr. Critic, good morning, sir.
Yeah, brother.
I'm calling your program this morning for the first time, this time to extend on behalf of myself and my family, on behalf of the directors, management and staff of MMA, to the family of our fallen heroes. And all Guyanese, I expect, should do the same. They have lost their life fighting
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Zai?
Yeah, but they have lost their life fighting for us.
Cool, bro. I feel you. No. This is a big man friend of mine, and really good guy. Always in the affairs of what's going on, and he used to be calling. He called me, one of the people that called me 3-4 times. What's going on? Update me what's going on. The guy's been found, and you know. I have been fortunate to have in my life a few principled people. And this is important to have in your life, eh? To be, no matter who you are and what level of success you attain in life, if you go to the most rich and powerful men, they have somebody they go to for advice, somebody they look up to. This gentleman who just called is is one of those positive people that I look and think, whoa, the world could do with more people like this, who never day has bad advice to give. So as much as I am the guy who tells everybody the story and tell them like it is, I too get advice from people. You know, I used to sit and talk to Mike Charles, and he would say, Critic, you do this. And I sit down and I looked at this documentary. I was one of the few people that went into his house. He has a house just off the airport, and sat and looked at a documentary that he took years of video footage to create. We had our differences on how I said, man, you're supposed to give me for premiere this thing. But it's a beautiful documentary about all the wild animals and the beautiful places in Guyana. Too many times we take for granted how we get this peace we get. You know, yesterday I was talking to my staff after the blunder was made and saying, but people coming to the airport, heightening people's expectations. Sad. I explained to them that we are in a paradise. Our discomfort is our own doing. Guyanese need to learn from this experience. Have you ever heard about the Rwandan genocide? Do you know about the loss of life in Syria? Do you know about the wars across the world where many people have lost their lives for the liberties that others presently are having? Sometimes it becomes evident that Guyanese are too comfortable. Now again, we are not in a wartime. Venezuela continually to express aggression against Guyanese. We're not in a wartime. But we are in a readiness. And those servicemen that lost their lives on Wednesday were there on duty creating the preparedness. In the event that Guyanese would ever come in harm's way. And in executing their duties, they lost their lives. If it weren't for Venezuelan aggression and the intent on your protection, it is highly likely that they would not have lost their lives. So a Guyanese can't go about thinking, well, there's not me concern. I didn't fly in. I is not a soldier. No Guyanese must be led to think as such. You are directly related and affected. Every 800,000 yal within the 83,000 square miles considered Guyana. Everyone, the Amerindian, the Indian, the Chinese, the Black, the Portuguese, every Guyanese has a direct relation to this accident that happened that cost 5 servicemen their lives. Because if it wasn't for the protection of you and the aggressions of the Venezuelans, there would have been no need for them to be on that mission that they were on. You who dare, the Facebook warriors and the WhatsApp warriors, the liberties that you have been given are given to you as such by the diligent works and protection of you by these fallen heroes. Let's not forget that. Straight away into the American stance on Venezuela. Take a look. Coming out of the White House.
Sanctions on Venezuela's oil sector in October. It was on the condition that Nicolas Maduro begin releasing Americans being held hostage there by November 30th. which is obviously passed. No Americans were released. It's December 7th.
Nowhere near political prisoners.
Wrongfully detained Americans in Venezuela. What's the status of that sanctions relief, and what are the consequences for him missing that deadline?
You know, we don't telegraph punches in the sanctions realm. We don't get ahead of sanctions decisions, so I'm not going to do that today. Obviously, we always have that option available to us, but I'm not in a position now to rule anything in or out. Deeply concerned that those commitments weren't followed through by the evening of the 30th.
Staying on Venezuela, obviously since the invasion of Ukraine, the administration has said that it's committed to protecting, territorial integrity around the world for nation states. And here you have Maduro threatening to annex 75% of its neighbor. What is your public message to Maduro, and is there any private message being sent to Maduro about the consequences of this?
Yeah, so again, I've said this before, but we obviously support the peaceful resolution of the border dispute between Venezuela and Guyana. And we absolutely stand by our unwavering support for Guyana's sovereignty. The 1899 arbitral award that determined the land boundary between those two countries should be respected unless or until the parties themselves reach a new agreement or a competent legal body decides otherwise, and that hadn't happened. So we're going to urge Venezuela and Guyana to continue to seek a peaceful resolution of this dispute, including by the International Court of Justice.
Southcom announced that it was going to be conducting flight exercises over Guyana today. Is that timing meant to send a message to President Maduro about U.S. support for Guyana and its territorial integrity?
I'd be careful drawing too strong connective tissue between routine military operations that we do in the region in this particular issue. That said, as I said before, we recognize the sovereign territory of Guyana, and as we do with many nations, sovereign nations in the region, we conduct operations and exercises as appropriate.
How far would the U.S. be willing to go to show that support? Would it be willing to help Guyana maintain that territorial integrity?
You mean militarily?
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate about that kind of a thing. What I said yesterday stands. We want the internationally recognized border recognized. We want these two sides to work it out diplomatically. We've already expressed our support for the 1899 arbitral award, which set that boundary. And as I also said yesterday, we don't want to see this come to blows. There's no reason for it to.
John, is the U.S. in any...
So that is the U.S. on the Guyana-Venezuela, the Venezuelan aggression against Guyanese, right? So you will, to put it into context, it's clear as day. The Americans don't see any confusion as to Essequibo being Guyana. Maduro would be overstepping his bounds. How long will the American take to come in to support us? So the speculations and the worry and thing should not be. Should not be. We have our Brazilian counterparts on the southern side of our border, also in support of us. And this is what Trinidadian Prime Minister Trinidadians had to say.
People lost their money. People lost money.
Hola.
Up to today, they have not been able to recover that money from pornography viewed by children and adults skyrocketed. And this would have been more straps. At that age, under 18, you couldn't do those things. And even when you're over 18, your mother will tell you, hey, you're good. I turn now to our neighbor next door, Venezuela. This current crisis between Guyana and Venezuela, created by Maduro, I think is to whip up nationalism under the false pretext that the international community is mistreating Venezuela. I'll tell you why. Maduro reminds me of another leader. He wants to make himself a victim who is defending the motherland and will paint himself as a great patriotic hero of Venezuela as Bolivar and thereafter Chavez. He'll be the hero himself. Dictators love to boast about their patriotism while calling opponents, guess what? Unpatriotic. Think of our leader. Everybody else who doesn't agree with him is unpatriotic. Does that sound familiar, as I say? It is straight out of the fascist propaganda playbook. Venezuelan elections are in the air. Elections are coming up. His intention seems to be to deploy the army due to the threat of war and then control the streets and movements of persons to prevent campaigning and protests. Sound familiar? Remember COVID? He may then attack and jail opponents for being in league with the imperialists, whom he falsely accuses of stealing land from Venezuela. Due to these tactics, opposition voters may find they will not be able to vote on election day. He may return to power after the Venezuelan elections, and everything will just settle down. So all this big hue and cry, we must not jokingly look at it, but we have to look at his past actions. Why would I say that? I want to remind you of his behavior, Maduro. When I was Prime Minister in 2015, in June 2015, the Maduro government in Venezuela, they proclaimed a presidential decree claiming the maritime waters encompassing Guyana's exclusive economic zone. Been there before, he's done that. They did that then because guess what? Parliamentary elections for the National Assembly were being held in December of that same year, 2015. What did I do in 2015 when I was your Prime Minister? There's an article up on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. Look at that screen. Keep on the screen for a few minutes. This year, that article, headline, Trinidad and Tobago, this is when I was Prime Minister in 2015, when Maduro declared his intentions to invade Guyana about the territorial waters. Trinidad and Tobago stands in full support of Guyana and declares Venezuela's decree as a violation of international law. Backwards, go back, remember. The article continues. The Prime Minister of TNT, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, on Friday announced that her government stands in full support of Guyana in the wake of a decree by Venezuela claiming Guyana's territorial waters. Ms. Persad-Bissessar met with Guyana's then President, David Granger, on Friday morning for bilateral talks. And just after those talks, she indicated that Trinidad and Tobago could not sit idly by and not show its support for Guyana in this latest conflict with Venezuela. The article continues. The Prime Minister reiterated that we pledge our support to Guyana in this matter. We pledge our commitment to support Guyana, and we have always supported Guyana and will continue to do so. Continuing in the article, Trinidad and Tobago shares very good relations with Venezuela, but the Prime Minister said, even as those relations remain unchanged, Guyana will get its support on the border controversy. That was in 2015. That is what I did. I stood up for the people of Guyana in 2015, and the UNC will now stand with the people of Guyana in 2023 and 2024. The same playbook. Venezuelan elections are due in 2024. And so you're hearing the war cries, beating the war drums, mustering troops. Venezuelan elections due 2024. Maduro returns with the same tired dictator playbook. He threatens Guyana and makes territorial claims to whip up national support. It didn't work in 2015. It will not work again in 2023 and 4. I don't want to hear that my support is because Guyana has oil, discovered oil. At that time, not one drop of oil was pumped out of Guyana soil in 2015 when we gave our commitment as a government and people of Trinidad and Tobago to support Guyana in 2015. So that is rubbish to say, oh, we're only saying this now because Guyana is oil rich. I stood with Guyana before, as I said before, they had a drop of oil out of the soil in July 2015. I also don't want to hear it being said, because they could do the dog whistle all the time about race, that we are supporting, the UNC is supporting, because Guyana now has persons in their government, at the head of government, who are Indian. So Indian-led government either. I want you to look at that picture, if we have it up on the screen. That is former President David Granger, whom I supported against Venezuelan aggression in 2015. We stood side by side with him and the people of Guyana. My support was given due to the unbreakable bonds between us and our Guyanese brothers and sisters. And that is what we will do. We will stand with them again. So what is happening now? Rowley sheepishly hides behind the name, he calls it a zone of peace. What is a zone of peace, Rowley? Listen, my clear message to Maduro tonight is, if you interfere with the Guyanese people, you interfere with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You touch one, and you touch all. We fully support the people of Guyana in this crisis, and we call upon Maduro to obey international law and stay out of the lands occupied by Guyana. I also tell the Guyanese people what I tell you all the time: stand your ground. Stand your ground. You have suffered for too long. Now you have a great future. Don't let anyone take it from you. Stand your ground. And if TNT support with respect to the Dragon Gas deal, if TNT support in that deal means we have to wait longer for that Dragon Gas, so be it. The government must ensure that that Dragon Gas deal does go through, but that the revenue Maduro collects from it is not used for purchasing weapons to use against the Guyanese people or the Venezuelan opposition. We must make sure in whatever arrangements we have with Venezuela that the money they make from that will not end up militarizing through arms and ammunition the Maduro government, which they can then use against the Guyanese people and against opposition forces in Ghana. We should not get into any business dealings with Maduro that could help finance any military action against Ghana. Rowley's talk about the region remaining a zone of peace is not enough. Guyana must know.
So that is the opposition leader for Trinidad and her take. I don't want to, after that she went on to punch some punches at Keith Rowley, who's the Prime Minister of Trinidad at this time. I don't want to get into that. We are thankful for the Trinidadian support, and we need to keep on stream with how we will address our issues. Again, at this sad time in our history, I would like to express condolences to the family of the lost individuals. Hey bro, morning.
You live or anything?
Yeah, what man?
Oh, I want to talk to you about the positive talk we had given me last night about being a gentleman and so. And I actually woke up this morning like feeling really in a loving mood. That I actually wanted me going to buy a rose for a young lady, and I actually going to deliver it today.
Enjoy.
I just wanted to tell you, the thing like it really did a positive vibes for me mentally.
The positive can only make positive. Positive don't create negative. The body, your subconscious mind, as a human being, you're fully well aware of what is wrong and right. Right? For the most part. Most people know what is wrong and right. That is why when you end up in a certain situation, you've done a wrong thing, a lot of people do not accept they've done wrong things publicly, but inside they feel a little upset. They feel uneasy. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you get a pass, you know as a human being, when I'm talking to somebody or somebody's telling me something, I feel overwhelmed. I feel empowered. You understand?
Yeah.
If it is positive.
She told me just this morning about it, and she was like, she said, Mars, what caused it? I said, I don't know, but last night, Critic was talking a lot of positive things about being a gentleman and so on.
You're talking about on the podcast?
Yeah, we were talking about being a gentleman and bringing back chivalry and these things.
Stay strong and stay smart, bro.
All right, my boy. Well, you take care.
Safe.
We can get off later when you finish.
Cool. So, Sian, last night we did the recording of The Man Cave. And I had a talk with him about being a gentleman, of which I'm not. Because a gentleman entails a number of things. I'm a man.
I'm a real man. I'm the realest man in the world, and there are many things I could own. But a gentleman entails, you speak a certain way. You would have to maintain a certain discipline, like how I fire off, and so a gentleman does not do that. So I'm, not. But there are certain things and attitudes we could draw from the gentleman-like attitude, right? So yeah. Hello.
Morning.
Yeah, my brother.
All right. Yes, buddy. First of all, my heartfelt sympathies for myself, my family goes out to this fallen soldiers. If you hear a little bit of emotion, just forgive me.
We're all emotional at this time.
I know what it feels like to lose a loved one. I've lost my daughter election time in 2021, 2nd of January. So, but there is reports that another soldier died last night. Is that true? Or
no. Hear them, man. If you hear it from me, buddy, don't do them things. Don't. If you only hear it from me, is that only we do Facebook and TikTok thing. I can play this video again. Let me play a video again for y'all. What think about media? Listen to this. This is a matter of fact. This is my sentiment.
Do nothing, never fucking built nothing, motherfuckers, on planet Earth. When you really think about the media, who are they? Where did they come from? Why does their opinion matter? What have they ever done? What have they ever created? What have they ever built? Who's ever depended on a paycheck from the media? Nobody. They are a bunch of fucking zeros that sit around and write stories about people who are actually doing shit. Media are the dumbest, know nothing.
That's my opinion on media. Now, here people say, but Critic, use media, right? Well, you thought so. You assumed so. You understand? I, as a businessman, I very vocal about things. I use media to disseminate information.
Or your platform.
I ain't no friends with them. You could ask them media people. Me ain't no friends with them. Because that's how I feel about them. When I came into the thing and I started group up, I could remember standing up with Travis Chase and the set of fucking nonsense they was talking. I knew they didn't know what they were talking about. You understand? And I've proven myself. I ain't no regular day. Which other journalists you know in the world come to front, do a program every day, beat up the media entities, gone to the top, and then jump over to construction and start excelling at that, going into aviation, then into manufacturing. You understand? So I don't see myself with them. This.
And if I have to remind the public about something that is very special about Mr. Rodriguez, is on the last election, you quell a really rile up crowd on the East Coast. I would never forget that.
Well, bye. Here what I tell you. Here now, a riot and a rile up crowd is two different things. Because at the time when I stopped the riots at Bath Settlement, the rioters were in possession of a police officer that her own comrades run and left she.
I heard that. Yeah.
This, by the way, is recorded. This video, you got to record it with the, you download the video with the riots at the center here? Must go back to the page. You got to look for the riot, look for the dates. Riots at Bath Settlement. Right, people, brick raining for the battle, woods raining for the sky. There were about 10 police officers on a line with the riot gear and so, and they can't hold the line. And they're backing up, and one girl fall down, and the rest of them run under in a van. Me bodyguard run, we had a man there behind me. I said, bye, it's better you watch out for myself. Me one bodyguard to move. Run, when I turn around, the man doing a Usain Bolt behind me in the other direction. And I say, yo, I say, hello, y'all, stop, y'all gotta come back and get this girl. And when we realize it's me, everybody quail long and stop. Stand up there. People don't live out them thing there. You could go up against. You can. A lot of people have died talking to one man angered. Much as thousands of people angered. But I saw the need. I was willing to risk my life for save she. You understand? So some people don't know about them realities. But I don't consider myself to be them regular media people. I don't consider I use media. You understand? That's why I never saw the need to go and join, because I wanted to follow up with the formality in joining the Guyana Press Association, but there's a waste of fucking time. Let me play this thing one more time for people here. Why think about them? Hey, we talk, bro.
They ever built? Who's ever depended on a paycheck from the media? Nobody. They are a bunch of fucking zeros that sit around and write stories about people who are actually doing shit. Media are the dumbest, know nothing, do nothing, never fucking built nothing motherfuckers on planet Earth. When you really think about the media, who are they? Where did they come from? Why does their opinion matter? What have they ever done? What have they ever created? What have they ever built? Who's ever depended on a paycheck from the media? Nobody. They are a bunch of fucking zeros that sit around and write stories about people who are actually doing shit.
Yeah. Truth couldn't have been told better. Keep it real, guys. Peace out.